Hello, and welcome to the JQUBICLE podcast, where we have concentrated conversations to provoke profitable outcomes. My name is Jaquan Gamble, and I'll be your coach, your mentor, your manager, since we're talking about an office. Okay, so what I want you to do for me real quick is go ahead and like, share, comment, subscribe, all of the things in between. Send to 10 friends and tell them to watch it all the way through, so that we can encourage the world with what we're going to talk about. Okay. So I wanted to do this podcast because I believe that I have an experience and a journey, and I have a strategy essentially for young entrepreneurs and professionals to see different outcomes. I believe that many people who may be listening or watching this podcast are looking for something different. They're looking for a greater result. They're looking for results. And I am very results driven. It can sometimes be a little bit scary how results driven I am. But I believe that if you have a strategy, you can see the result that you want to see. So this JQUBICLE serves as an intimate place for young professionals and entrepreneurs so that we can engage and receive information and insight for our lives. Okay, it's going to challenge you to confront where you are directly and strategically plan and execute for the sake of your future. I don't know about anybody else, but one thing I cannot be without is a strategy. The world we live in today, we've seen so many different things occur in 2020 and 2021 that have affected us in various ways, and many people lost sight of so many different things, lost businesses, lost jobs, lost family members, and all these different things. And I believe that if you have a good strategy for your own life, then you're able to succeed in whatever endeavor that you are intending to pursue. I don't think anybody who is listening does not have an ambition. I just don't. I don't think that anyone who may be listening does not have some type of expectation for their lives, for their 2022, for their 2023, for their future. I think that you're listening because you are looking for something that is going to get you into or out of a certain mindset and into a different way of thinking and doing things. I always start off with the mind and your world, and then we work our way into your natural, into your finances, into every other area of your life. Okay, so I want you to really take this information home with you. I want you to take it and I want you to execute it, because what I've learned a lot of times about people and just coaching people is receiving information is easy, but taking information and applying it to our lives is where there's always a disconnect. And I don't want you to listen to me or another podcast or anything else or any other information or YouTube and you don't do anything with the information. I want you to make up in your mind right now that whatever information I receive, I'm going to apply it to my life. Whatever information I receive, I'm going to apply it to my money, my finances, my career, my family life, whatever area is this information will be applicable to. Okay, so I like the idea of a cubicle, and my name has a Q in it, and people call me JQ, right? I thought about a cubicle, and in cubicles, and they were essentially made or created in the 21st century. Offices were broken up into cubicles because one of the things it did was it provided some type of privacy, and that's one thing I wanted to hit on today. This is the introduction, and I wanted to introduce myself and my intentions for this podcast. But this podcast, it brings intimacy. It allows you to look at yourself in the mirror. It allows you to do some self-reflection. It allows you to really confront some internal, intrinsic things in your life that have the ability to affect your future. It's also a place of development. Cubicles are a place where managers like myself, Jaquan, the manager today, they help you develop in areas that you're lacking. To be honest, truth be told, there are some areas in your life that you're struggling in. We all have them. And so it takes someone else who has the knowledge, the wisdom, the intellect, the strategy to help you get to a different outcome with training and development. And then there's execution. I will never leave you out of some type of plan or a strategy in these conversations. And so I really am excited about this. The results of a cubicle are three things. There's a self-reflective component, there's a solution component, and there's a strategic component. You will always, the first one, self-reflection. You will always be able to look yourself in the mirror through the lens of the conversation and say, these are the areas that I'm struggling with. These are the areas that I am not doing as hot in. And you have to be okay with being honest with yourself. I need you to look at yourself for the rest of the day and say, I'm going to be honest with myself. I'm going to tell myself the truth if I'm not doing as good. And it's okay to not be doing good in a certain area. But what it's not okay to be is a person that wants to stay there. I believe that stuckness and stagnation are the killers to potential, and they're the killers to execution. If you are okay with that, with being where you are, then you're not necessarily going to experience the fullness of what is possible for you, because you're okay with what is. But what if I told you there was greater for you? What if I told you there was more for you? What if I told you that there was some things in store for your life that were bigger than you? That would provoke you to say, okay, Jaquan, I need to look myself in the mirror and I need to figure out what's wrong with me or what's wrong in this area, and then pursue it differently. Because many times we complain about other people's things and other people's doings and other people's effect on us. But if they can affect us, then that means there is something internally that is causing them to have more influence over us than we do ourselves. And that's a problem. Okay. The second thing are solution. I believe that we need to have solution based types of conversations. There's a lot of talk always about the problems with things and the problem with the world and the problems, but if we are going to advance in any direction or in any area, we are going to have to stop looking so far into the problem without the intention of bringing some type of solution that is profitable. What is the solutions that you are called to create or to bring into a certain space? What are the solutions that you have the capacity, the wit, the intellect, the education, the skill set to solve? You can solve a problem. You need to stop talking so much about the problem if you're not going to do anything to fix it, or if you're not willing to sacrifice enough to fix it. It takes great sacrifice to fix problems, because it now is no longer about you. It's going to be now about the people who the problem is affecting. Okay, so the results of the podcast are: 1, self-reflection; 2, solutions; and 3, strategy. Yes, you can have a solution, but if you don't know how to execute it, then you're not going to be able to. And so those are the results of this podcast. We are going to have some self-reflection conversations. We're going to have some solutions, and we're going to have some strategies. I want to give you some wisdom on how to conquer it, whatever area these strategies would apply to you. Okay. And so the title of this podcast, or the first one or whatever, is Getting Back on Track. right? And I think that we're 26 days in the new year, and many people are already off track. Yeah, I know. I know it's a challenge right now. I know that what you expected is not what it looks like right now, but you are going to have to get a grip. Okay, you're going to have to stop looking at what is so far into it that you become depressed, that you become overwhelmed, that you become mentally unstable, and you cannot see anything or any way out of it. Okay, we're already off track, so it's time to get back on track, right? So I want you to make up in your mind that I may be off track right now, but today I'm getting back on track. I am intentionally creating in my mind a thought pattern of every day I'm going to be on track. My steps are ordered daily. Every day I'm going to be intentional about my time. Every day I'm going to be intentional about where I put my attention. Every day I'm going to be intentional about how much time I spend on social media without even creating anything that's profitable. I'm going to be intentional about what I do with what I already have. And the reasons why people are off track, there are a couple reasons. And sometimes life can just happen. So circumstance. The first one is circumstances. Life does happen, and I'm aware that life can come at you fast. I'm aware because me and my wife have experienced a whole lot of stuff, even in the beginning of the year, going into the at the end of last year. As a matter of fact, all of 2021 was crazy. We got married. People was acting crazy. Life came at us fast, right? There were so many different transitions, so many different shifts, so many different things that happened that it affected our ability to be mobile, to be agile, to be focused on what we were supposed to be focused on, because our attention was given so much to what was happening right now. And that happens, and that's definitely okay. But you have to learn how to pivot. One of my mentors, I call him my business mentor. He is my business mentor. His name is Justin Carter. I think you should follow him. He talks about pivoting, and what a pivot is a subtle movement in the event of something that could potentially stifle or keep you from being able to move forward. It's a subtle movement. It's a shift. It's an adjustment, right? And when life happens, you're going to have to learn how to adjust. You're going to have to learn how to move around and maneuver. Sometimes you have to maneuver through it. Sometimes you can't go around stuff. Sometimes you have to go through it. Sometimes you may need to get some therapy. Sometimes you may need to talk to somebody. Sometimes you may need some time to just sit and rest so that you can be more focused and alert. Sometimes you just need to take a break for a second, because I think that sometimes what happens is stuff will happen, it'll pile on you, and if you don't take time to breathe, that stuff will suffocate you, right? And circumstances will come at you fast, but you got to learn how to adjust. All right. The second reason why we're off track is because we're in comparison. People are doing things, they're moving at their pace, they're doing whatever it may be. And we're looking at their lives, and we're looking at our lives like, dang, I didn't do that yet this year. I didn't accomplish that last year. I wish I would have. I wish I would have, could have, would have, should have, and all those other things in between. But the reality is, you cannot look at someone's life as a means to demean your own. When you see people's lives, you ought to be inspired, asking the questions, well, how did they do that? What was their mindset? Or what were some things that they did every day that caused them to get the outcome that they did? What was some things that they decided that they were not going to do? What were some non-negotiables in their lives? What were some things that they decided that they were going to stop doing, or some things that they were going to do more of? How much time? You need to be asking those questions. Instead of comparing yourself, you ought to get inspired by people. People should inspire you to go deeper and further. They should not inspire you to do more than them or try to outdo them. That should never be your intention, because if that is your intention, you're going to fall because you're trying to become them or trying to be better than them when you need to just stay in your own lane. All right. The third thing as to why we are off track is because we procrastinate. There are some things that you said that you were going to do and you have not done them. You said to yourself, I'm going to do this tomorrow. I'm going to wait until next week. Or no, I told myself, I said, listen, Jaquan, everything you say you're going to do, you're going to do it. I made that up in my mind last year. And of course, I give myself grace because sometimes some days are longer than others. But one thing I am not going to do is say I'm going to do something and don't do it. There's a thing called self-accountability and self-integrity. And I think we as a people need to learn how to be self-integral. When we commit to something to ourselves, that we actually pursue it and do it with excellence. That we need to stop giving ourselves so much to other people that we fail to reach the goals that we have for ourselves. I said this a couple days ago. I said, listen, it's time for you to take a chance on you. You are procrastinating because you don't believe in yourself. You procrastinate because you don't think that you're worthy of the results, or you're worthy of the finance, or you're worthy of the money, or worthy of the influence. That's why you procrastinate. You procrastinate because of your belief. Your belief is stifling your ability to be able to move forward. And when you are in fear is a crippling agent. It will cripple you and it will ultimately stop you. And that's what keeps people stagnant, is the spirit of fear. And I know this isn't necessarily a spiritual or whatever, but I'm a spiritual man. I believe that the spirit of fear will taunt you to a point to where you will essentially miss out on opportunities and moments. Yes, I believe that there's people. I can't say I necessarily believe this, but I know that a lot of people say, time is time and whatnot. People think that time is what it is, right? People have these time limits and these time frames, but no. You will always, I don't want to say you will always have time, but you got some time. What I don't want you to do is miss your opportunity in your moment. Don't miss your opportunity in your moment, because your opportunity in your moment is the open door that will allow you to step into the right time, right? And so don't procrastinate no more. And it's easier said than done, but I'm going to give you some strategies on how to get yourself back on track in just a moment. The last thing I want to say is the reason why people are off track is disorganization. You don't really have a focus or direction. And you're trying to do things that you're not supposed to be doing. And I know that kind of hurts a little bit, but the reality is you have to stop doing things that you don't have the grace for anymore. It is not your responsibility. It is not your responsibility. It is not your. I know you want to save the world and all these other things, but you have to move and operate from your own ability and your own strength. You cannot continue to try to overexert yourself. That's why you're all over the place and fumbling right now on the 26th day of the year, because you've been giving yourself to everything else, and now you're disorganized and you're all over the place. When you're all over the place, you have no clear focus or direction, and now you move aimlessly trying to figure out which direction you're supposed to go, because you did not submit to your own goals and instructions that you gave yourself before the new year came. So I know that was the problems, I know that was confrontational and whatnot, but that's the reality. There's four reasons, and I'm sure there's more. But the four things that I know for me and from what I've seen is our life circumstances, comparison, procrastination, and disorganization. When we can get these things under control and in check, then we are going to see the fullness of what we expect to see for the year. I think that many of our goals can be skip traced. If we take the time to be intentional. I think that's the word for you. If you're listening to me, is to be intentional. Intentional means to do it with excellence and with efficiency. It doesn't matter what your it is, to do it with excellence and efficiency, to do it fully, and to do it in the time frame of which you give yourself. And that's how we're going to get back on track. The first way that we're going to get back on track is we're going to identify our top 3 to 5 priorities. I was talking to one of my mentees, and he was telling me that he was going to need something else, or need some assistance. And I said, listen, what are your priorities? I think that you need to reevaluate what your priorities are. Once you identify your priorities, then you can create a plan, or a goal set, of which you are able to reach it, right? So the first thing that you need to do to get back on track is identify your top 3 to 5 priorities. I would share my priorities. One of my priorities for 2022, one of my priorities right now is to get this other certification. That's a priority for me. So now I'm going to set a smarter goal, and then a plan, and I'm going to schedule my day to accomplish those goals. Schedule my day every day. And that's how we're going to get back on track. So the first way is we're going to identify our top 3 to 5 goals. Number 2, we're going to set smarter goals. Right? And here's what smarter goals mean. S, of course, is specific. M is measurable. A is attainable or achievable. And R is relevant. T is time bound. Right? So we have our specific, measurable, attainable, and relevant, and time bound goals. Right? But then we have the ER, the smarter goals. The ER is after you've reach the time frame of which you have set for yourself, you need to evaluate, that's E, and review, right? So say, for example, I say, Jaquan, I want to make $10,000 in the month of February, right? And I say that's specific. It's measurable because it's an amount of money. It's attainable because of the industry that I'm in. It's relevant because I have bills, and I have a wife, and I have things I want to do. I want to travel and all those other things. It's time bound because it's within the confines of a month, right? So if by the end of February, on the 28th day of February, that I have not reached my goal, I have to evaluate and review why. I evaluate, what was I doing wrong? What did I not do? What did I complete? How far did I get? Was I 95% towards my goal, from reaching my goal? Was I 50% away from my goal? What has been affected because I did not reach that goal? What was I not able to do because I didn't reach my goal? That is how you evaluate and review. And I even do like a point system. And if anybody wants it, they can email me. They can send me an email to jaquan@jaquanxgamble.com of how I organize my strategic goals. Because if I don't, the way I operate as a person is, if I do not have a time, an amount, or anything like that, then I'm not going to do it. It's just not going to work, because I'll be distracted and focused on everything else, and I will not be able to. That's why you have to learn how to say no. Your smarter goals will teach you how to say no, because now you are under some more pressure, some more pressure, and you are more accountable to actually reaching those. That's how you build self-integrity and self-accountability. When you set something and then you actually pursue it and plan for it. And that's the third thing. We're going to create a strategic plan, right? So that means $10,000 divided by, I'm going to just say 25 days. What's that math? Let's do it. I don't even know what the math is. I'm a math person. I think it's $400 a day. Yeah, I'm right. I'm going to just use easy numbers. So say, for example, February was 25 days, right? That's $400 a day. That's starting on February 1st. I need to make $400 a day for the first 25 days of the month, right? So every day I need to have activity that is in alignment with what my goals are, right? I have to plan every hour, since I'm a full-time entrepreneur at this point. I have to plan every hour down to the hour on what I'm going to be actively doing that is going to yield me unto my goals that I have been that I believe that I can reach. That is building self accountability and self integrity. Because now I'm saying, okay, I'm really about to do this. I'm planning it out. I'm every day down to the hour. I'm saying what I'm going to do. And then if I don't do it, if I don't do it, whose fault is that? That's mine. And then I'm gonna be feeling bad because I didn't reach my goal. Now, every time you choose not to, every time you choose to procrastinate, it causes there to be a more pressure that's put on you to actually reach the goal. That's why the goal has to be attainable or achievable, because if it's too big, then you're gonna be disappointed. If it's not big enough, then that means you're not stretching yourself. So you have to be very, very strategic in how you orient your goals, right? So my strategic plan is down to my days and hours, right? Every hour on the hour, I'm doing something that is actively going to get me to the goal that I want to get to. Every hour, I don't play by my time, and I don't allow people to waste my time either. I don't stay on the phone too long. If I have a phone call, and it may seem robotic to you, but I don't think you understand, if you're not an entrepreneur, how important this idea of time is. Time is something that you really cannot get back. You cannot get back time. You can't. It just doesn't work like that. And some people believe that time, like I said earlier, some people believe whatever they believe about time, but I don't want to miss a moment, right? What if one day I had one phone call that paid for everything, every goal that I had in that month? That's because I was actively pursuing the activity, right? I was actively doing the activity. And so out of my activity, that's what caused me to experience the moment and the opportunity. Now I can do more with my time. Okay. So the last thing is setting a daily schedule. That's part of the strategic plan. Setting a daily schedule. I think if you're listening, you need to be going to the gym. You need to be eating healthier. One thing I found out is that when I stopped eating and drinking certain things, especially things with a lot of sugar in it, I was able to focus more. I think I heard someone say that ADHD, or people who struggle with focus a lot, and I'm not no psychiatrist or anything like that. This is just something that I read somewhere. That a lot of sugar, taking sugar out of your diet, or limiting the amount of sugar in your diet, can affect your ability to focus better. You can focus more when you have less sugar in your diet, right? So set a discipline, get a discipline, do something, the same thing every day for 21 days, and you're going to see a different result. If you say that you're going to go to the gym every day at the same time for 21 days, then you're going to have to, it doesn't matter what time you go to bed. It doesn't matter what you got to do in the morning or the night before. You made a commitment to yourself that you're going to do this very thing every day for 21 days. That's what's going to build your stamina and your endurance to actually continue to do it after the 21 days is over. Right. Now, the last thing to get back on track is to find accountability. One thing I've been telling that I do often now is I verbally express my goals to the people that I'm with, that I call my accountability. That's my wife and my mentor and my closest friends. I say, this is what I want to do for this month. I want y'all to hold me accountable. And I'm very, very clear and strategic on what I say to them, because I want them to hold me accountable to these goals. And if you do not like accountability, you are not going to succeed. If you do not like people checking in on you, then you are not going to be prosperous and you're not going to grow. So I want you to take these goals and these strategies and these solutions, and I want you to use them to your advantage. I want you to Tell 10 people the 5 things that you need to do to get back on track. And I want you to like, I want you to share, I want you to save, I want you to subscribe, and I want you to share with 10 people. Send this to 10 people and tell them that it's time to get back on track. You need to make a declaration. I'm big on decreeing and declaring. Make the declaration and the decree that from this day forward, I will not allow for what I see to procrastinate me. I will not allow my fears to stop me. I will not allow what is going on in the world to block me from being able to see the expected outcomes of which I am looking forward to. I refuse to submit to and to abide by the world systems and the government systems. I am only committed to doing what I'm supposed to do and doing it the way that is most profitable, that will yield me the greatest results. We are going to go further, and we're going to see the results of everything that we plan in 2022 and beyond. This is the year that the prepared are going to experience breakthroughs, that are going to experience financial turnarounds, that are going to experience generational wealth creation. This is the time. It's going to happen to those that prepare and those who are willing to sacrifice the time. So thank you for joining me today for this first episode of Getting Back on Track. This is the JQUBICLE, where we have concentrated conversations to provoke profitable outcomes. My name is Jaquan Gamble, and I am the manager, and I hope to see you soon. Send this, like this, share this, and tell everybody about it. And I want to hear your feedback. Please send me an email at jaquan@jaquanxgamble.com, and I'm looking forward to hearing what more you want to hear and who you want to connect with and everything of that nature. So, all right. Thank you so much.